me Z&T because I'm the best in the game. I got the fame, the style that isn't lame.
Hey, is there a cassette tape anywhere?
I sure do. This cassette is the best, I can attest. Best cassette in the east to the west. Yeah, I ain't a rapper. This cassette's dapper. I'm no capper.
Okay, do you mind if I take that off your hands?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, thank you.
No problem, bro.
And this is this week's Closet Classics.
Welcome to Fireworks, the show that takes you inside the fire station, sponsored by Firefighters Local 2313. I'm your host, Lieutenant Lee Callahan. On this show, we're going to take a look at some cold water and ice rescue training that Group 2 did recently. Lieutenant Mike Patterson was kind enough to take the camera out on the ice while they did their training. And this is something that all the groups try to get done about once a year just to keep our skills up because we have several bodies of water in town, most notably the Mill Pond Reservoir, but there are several other bodies of water as well. And afterwards we'll talk about maybe some ice safety tips for the winter time and of course some of our other safety tips. So we hope you enjoy the show.
January 11, 2001, we're looking at the Burlington Reservoir. As you can see, it's covered with snow and probable thick ice.
We're the firefighters that will stop his fun. Look out, dragon, here we come. Oh, we're the slayers of fire dragons.
What we're going to be doing today is going to be simulating a ice water rescue. We're standing on about 100 yards from the shore on the reservoir. We're going to cut a hole in the ice, place a firefighter in a water protective suit, and then we're going to simulate rescuing the firefighter.
Him outside. Look out, dragon, you can't hide. Oh, we're the slayers of fire dragons. We're the ones who go inside their dens, their dens. We're the slayers of fire dragons. We're the ones who do the dragons. There he is. Let him have it. We're the ones who do the dragons in. We're the ones who do the dragons in.
No way, this is...
You can see we got a
That's a deep...
4x6 hole cut out. The ice is probably a foot and a half thick.
Why don't we retreat and we'll go over 30 feet? 30, 40 yards.
some of the equipment that we use for ice water rescue. As you can see right here, we have 2 life ramps. Over here we have a Stokes leader, which we use to remove the victim. Life safety ropes. Every operation we must use life safety ropes. See Firefighter Williams assisting Lieutenant Corbett, putting on the life safety suit.
Okay, that's good. Now what's this for? Well, the backpack, right? Yep.
Cold water rescue suit.
Perfect fit for the feet.
Mike, you need a hand there, kid?
I should be able to get it. There we go. Obvious hole. Just in the pocket there. Like going on the sole of the foot there. But the drain. Drains are nice. Leave your sweatshirt on, we'll take it off.
Yeah, take that off.
Now, these cold water rescue suits stop the cold water from getting into the firefighter. Also enables a firefighter to get into an ice cold environment. You can see all parts of the body are protected by this. Boots, gloves. We can take him off and he can get some help. He's gonna get pulled up fucking back. Well, realistically, you're gonna
Downtown by the waterfront, there lives a fireman. He's always very happy, and he'll
guys
help
going over their
you all
strategy
he
before
can.
they actually
He'll
perform the
never
rescues.
use your real name, whether you are Tom or Timmy. To him, the world is just a game, and everybody's Jimmy. I'm Jimmy, you're Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy.
What is There you go.
And it's leaking. When is the town going to buy us some good equipment?
This knot right here is the knot that
Life is
is
sure
more
a lot
commonly
more
in the
fun
rescue
when
business than any other
everybody's
knot.
Jimmy.
And that right there is a perfect
If you
example of that
want to
knot.
find this
that not have a
fireman,
name?
go over to the park. He's playing with the children. He's giving each his
What's going on here is
To him, all kids
Eddie
are
McLean is being rescued
treats them like it.
by Mike Fontenay. Both members are secured to safety lines. It's Mike's job to get in behind Eddie, wrap a rope around him, clip it in, get him bouncing, and then lift him right up over with the assistance of firefighters on the shore.
Okay. Yeah, remember you're supposed to do the 1, 2, 3, and then
Give me
yell?
the edge.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Are we supposed to pull from here?
No.
No, they're doing it from there.
Hey, they're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll yell. All right, the bounce. 1, 2. Eddie, Eddie, clear two.
As you can see, these suits act as a flotation device.
All right, I got
There you
hooked
go.
up.
All right, on 3,
Okay, we'll
on
go
3,
on
we'll let you
three.
know. You bounce.
Let's
Both of
bounce.
you together.
1, 2, 3.
Go!
Everybody's
That's
Jimmy.
supposed to go with them.
The world is full of angry
You're supposed to
words.
be
The
going with
world
them,
is
brother.
full of lies. There are many who are bitter
I got the
and who
leaking
like
suit,
just
if anyone
passes
wants to
by.
know that.
It would be nice if for a day
I don't have a
in
hawk. I can
every
go back in
town and
again.
sitting to this fireman everybody's Jimmy. Hey Jimmy, oh Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy. Life is sure a lot more fun when
There's our guys on the
everybody's
safety line down there. When it's time for the rescue to pull the victim from the water, they go on a 3 count.
It amazes me that people can actually...
Once we get to 3, the guys on the line begin pulling toward the shore, and they'll pull the victim right to the shoreline.
Why?
It's wet on the bottom. You don't build colds up.
And you got him, Steve?
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, so I'm just gonna go in.
You're just gonna... You know how to go in? Go in a little bit of the hill, right? You got it. That's it.
Make sure the rope doesn't get behind you.
Big ass fish up my yard.
I wish I knew her real name. He just calls her Jimmy. I'm Jimmy, you're Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy. According to this fireman, everybody's Jimmy. Hey Jimmy, oh Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy. Life is sure a lot more fun when everybody's Jimmy. I'm Jimmy, you're Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy. According
Beautiful.
to this fireman,
That's how it's supposed to be
everybody's
done.
Jimmy.
Textbook right there.
Hey Jimmy, oh Jimmy, everybody's Jimmy.
From the hole, and then place them on a Stokes, and then drag the Stokes to the shoreline.
I'll tell them.
As you can see, the rescuers going behind the victim. He's going to wrap a safety line around the victim's waist, chest area,
Okay, on 3.
wave to the haulers.
Go!
You can see, victim's being hauled right to the Stokes leader.
When pretty Mary Sage still had her curls, she was a little different from the rest of the girls. She loved
What we're gonna do now is we're gonna demonstrate the hauling system. Victim on the Stokes, we're going to haul him to the shoreline.
Be part of the team.
And as we pull on this line right here, these pulleys do all the work. And that clamp will grab onto that blue rope and pull the blue rope in. The blue rope is connected to the stretcher out there. Just makes it easier pulling him off the ice. It's probably not the best situation to use this, but it's a good place to practice it.
But you're gonna need a lot of rope.
See here, the pulley system that we're going to be using.
You see the cam get up. Actually, Sean can yell that, and I'll reset the cam. Want me to go hop on the Stokes with Sean?
Eddie would have to have an off ball.
Prepare to haul. All right, haul.
Well, with Mary Sage's picture, the papers would sell. Your photogenic Mary Sage, firefighter Mary Sage. I see you got your picture right on the front page. Someday you'll die a hero, Mary Sage. The house was on fire, there were children inside. Mary Sage helped to save them, everyone. But she was back inside when the walls came in. Your photogenic Mary Sage, firefighter Mary Sage. I see you got your picture.
Training drill that Group 2 did recently out on the Mill Pond Reservoir. As you notice, they were having a good time out there, but just so you know, it's not necessarily just playtime for them. Whenever the officers see something that doesn't go quite right and quite according to what the training calls for, they will stop them in the middle of what they're doing and go over whatever the situation is. But as you can imagine, being out in the water like that in the middle of January, it's kind of enjoyable for the guys. It's non-stressful. Not too many of us get to go swimming in the middle of a lake in January here in New England. It's kind of like the L Street Brownies in Boston on New Year's Day. like they were enjoying themselves. They were, but when things needed to be stopped to make sure the training went correctly, the officers took care of that. Captain Kevin Brown took care of that. And talking about Captain Kevin Brown, I'm here today with Kevin's two brothers, Tim Brown, way over on your left, and Jim Brown, right beside me. They're 2/3 of the Brown brothers on the Burlington Fire Department. First, we'll talk to Tim. Tim, welcome to Fireworks. And tell us a little bit about your career, how long you've been on, some of the things that you're responsible for here at the fire station.
Well, I got on 13 and a half years ago, and my responsibilities here, I'm on the rescue, and I'm on the tower. I'm mostly on the tower right now. I'm shop steward for the union.
So you represent Group 4 with the union?
Yes.
Okay.
If there's any problems, I take Group 4's problems to the union body, or to the elected board, and we discuss it there.
Okay, good. Jim, what are some of the things that, how long have you been on, some of the things that you do here?
I'll be on 4 years in April, and I also go through the rotation, a little bit more time on the rescue. So I'm one of the junior guys, so the ambulance, the engine, and the tower.
So you're both EMTs, you both do some time on the ambulance, as well as you're cross-trained on all the other pieces, like most of the guys on the job are. Now, you two are on the same shift, but your brother's on a different shift. What kind of problems does that cause for mom and dad as far as scheduling family functions or anything like that?
A lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
As you know, with the schedules we have, and your brother being on, it's hard to plan to get the whole family together on any particular night. Either I'm working, my brother is also in civil service, another brother, and he works 4 to 12s at a different department. And with Kevin being on the exact opposite shift we have, it's just a big deal to try to get everyone together.
It is difficult to get everybody together.
Somebody always got to take a day off.
Right, right.
If we want to get the family
That's
together.
right. And to complicate your situation, Tim, your wife happens to be,
Burlington police officer.
so she's working a separate shift as well.
Yes.
So that just complicates it even more.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Well, it can be a problem.
It can be a problem. Those of you who watched fireworks last month in January when we had the blood drive will remember Jim and his wife Meg and their beautiful twin girls. If you remember that show, you'll remember that you saw Jimmy there for a few minutes at the beginning, and then we kind of did a little bit on those girls because they're so cute. They look like their mother, not their father. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Okay, getting back to the cold water rescue scenes that you saw, some of the questions that are frequently asked of us in the fire service having to do with ice safety, we want to go over a few of those tonight. One question that asks is, when is it safe to go on the ice? And a standard rule of thumb would be when the ice reaches a thickness of at least 4 inches, it's generally fairly safe to go on the ice. But you want to test all the spots that you plan on going to anyway. Don't just go out there and assume that just because one area is 4 inches, that the whole body of ice is 4 inches, because it generally doesn't work that way. So you always want to check the area that you're planning on going across the ice, whether it's skating or ice fishing or whatever it is. Be very careful. Another question is, what should a person do if he or she falls in the ice? First thing you want to do, and it's very difficult, is you don't want to panic. You want to try to grip the edge of the ice and call for help. Don't flail away trying to panic or anything, because being in that extremely cold water will sap all your strength very quickly. So you want to be calling for help. Hopefully somebody will be nearby that would be able to respond to your calls for help. That brings us to another question is, how can a bystander help someone that does fall through the ice? Well, first thing a bystander should do is probably call 911, start the emergency crews to come to help out. But what a bystander could do also, once the emergency crews are started, is find a good strong long branch, a broomstick, a hockey stick, a shovel, a long shovel, a ladder, anything like that that can be reached out towards the hole that the person is in without the bystander getting too close to the hole. The other thing the bystander should do, the rescue person should do, is lay flat on the ice, dispersing their weight, so there'd be less chance that that person would go through the ice as well. But the important thing is to get help started. And also, you never want to go on the ice by yourself. You always want to make sure that there's at least another person with you somewhere in the general vicinity of with the ice that you're on. So you don't want to go skating by yourself or go ice fishing by yourself. Always make sure that there's somebody. It's like swimming. You don't go swimming by yourself either. Always make sure you have a buddy with you. One more question that people ask is, should a person ever go out on the ice to rescue a pet that's fallen through the ice or just stuck in the ice? And our answer would be no, never. Don't go out after the pet. Again, call for the rescue services. We've got the equipment to be able to go over the ice. If we fall through, we'll have the cold weather suits on that you saw in the video. We will be prepared to go out and get your pet. Generally speaking, you're not prepared to do so. It's unsafe to do so, so call for the emergency services. So that's it for the ice tips. We'll be back in a moment with some other safety tips. One of the things I want to do before we go any further with the show is to recognize the accomplishments of recently retired Lieutenant Don Robinson. Donnie retired early January, and he had a stellar 32-year career here at the Burlington Fire Department, and we just want to wish him well in retirement, and that he has a long and healthy retirement. He and his wife Debbie, we hope will do a lot of traveling and enjoy themselves together. Okay, now for some safety tips. Again, we're going to talk first off about ice and going out on the ice. As I said before, never go out on the ice alone. Always, it's like a buddy system. Always make sure there's at least one other person with you when you go out on the ice. We've had a rash of tubing and sliding incidents this winter. Several hills in town the snow just hasn't worn down. It's very icy. The tubes are going particularly fast. We've had a rash of injuries resulting from that. We just want to warn you to, parents especially, make sure that the kids slide in safe areas, that there aren't big snowbanks at the bottom of the hills. And if there are, move to a little bit less slope. The kids will still enjoy it just as much. The snow is very icy right now. We've had a lot of back and head type injuries, concussions and things, and strictly from going down the iciest parts of the slopes. So we want to caution you on that. Another thing we've experienced several of recently is chimney and wood stove problems. I would encourage you to contact a professional chimney sweep, come out, check out your fireplace, your chimney, your wood stove, your installation. Just make sure everything is working well, everything is maintained. It's an investment that's well worth it. Space heaters are a continual problem this time of year, the little electric space heaters. Recently there was a bad fire in a surrounding town or a nearby town, which a space heater had too many articles of clothing piled too close to it, and it caught the clothing on fire, and there was some severe damage to the house. And there's no need for it if you just make sure that if you're going to use an electric space heater, that you keep all the combustibles well away from it, that it's Underwriters Laboratories listed, and that it has tip-over protection, so if it does get knocked over, it shuts down automatically. If you're going to use a space heater, make sure you use it correctly and safely. Continuing around town, driving around town, it's amazing to me that so many people don't shovel their second doorway, their second way of exiting their house. They don't shovel the steps and the walkways. Folks, you've got to understand that if there's a fire in your house and the normal doorway that you use to go in and out of the house is blocked by that fire, you've got to be able to get out a second way. And as the pile snows up in front of that other door, you're not going to be able to open it up to escape. You've got to shovel off at least 2 exits and entrances, and as a byproduct of that, should we have to come to your house, it gives us another way to get in, either in a fire situation or if it's a medical aid. Sometimes times we need that other way to get into your house because of the way your furniture is set up, the way the walls are, to try to bring the stretcher in. Can be quite difficult and challenging at times, but the important thing is to have two ways shoveled and cleared should you have to escape in a fire. Again, talk about the fire hydrants. So many of the neighborhood fire hydrants just don't get shoveled out. Again, I have to reiterate, folks, you've got to get those shoveled out. It only takes a couple of minutes. Those couple minutes right after a snowstorm can save lives and save precious seconds for us as we're trying to establish water supplies should there be a fire in your area. You know where the hydrants are. It's your neighborhood. It really does behoove you to keep the snow shoveled away from the fire hydrants. Going back to the use of candles, wax candles, again, just use them safely. Keep all combustibles away from them. If you use a match to light them, make sure the match is stone cold before you throw it away. A good thing to do is put the match under a little running water and just set the match on your sink. Just leave it on your sink, the top of your sink, where the faucet is, till the next day. Then go ahead and throw it out. You know it's still stone cold at that point. Or if you have an ashtray, put it in an ashtray after you've extinguished it. But please, use the candles and the matches responsibly. We want to make sure that, to remind you to test your smoke detectors. Occasionally vacuum them out every month or two. Just take your little vacuum cleaner wand and vacuum around, because dust will build up in those smoke detectors and make them less sensitive. And of course, make sure if you've got battery operated ones that the batteries are working. And again, we just tragically had a fire in a nearby town. 3 lives were lost, and it is believed that there were no working smoke detectors in that house. I can't convince you enough or be emphatic enough to tell you to check your smoke detectors, and if you don't have any, that you please get some. Carbon monoxide detectors, very important, especially this time of year when heating systems are being used. Pick up a carbon monoxide detector or two, put them in your house also. Make sure they're Underwriters Laboratory listed. There's a variety of the types and prices, but you get yourself one that's UL listed and just, let your budget dictate from there. One more thing, and you saw it in the January fireworks show. I want to encourage you to donate blood. Twice a month at the American Legion on Wynn Street, they have a blood drive there, the Red Cross blood drive. You can call the Red Cross and set up a time to go in there. Blood is always needed. It's a simple procedure. It doesn't hurt, and it may take 45 minutes or an hour of your time, but it's so important and so useful to have that blood. Well, that's about it for fireworks this month. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We want to encourage you to continue to watch fireworks. And also, one more thing, let me not forget to remind you that the fire department does provide CPR classes for residents of the town. You can call the fire station, 270-1925, and find out the dates of the CPR classes and sign up. And we'd love to have you learn CPR, because we want you to help us save lives. That's it for this month. Stay safe.
It said Jason is our hero. There were tears in my eyes. Oh, Jason, little Jason. Yes, firemen have heroes.
What do the 2001 Boston Marathon, Special Olympics, and Doug Hastings have in common? Doug is currently in training to participate in the 2001 Boston Marathon and at the same time raise money for the Special Olympics of Massachusetts. If you would like to support Doug in this worthwhile cause, please forward a check payable to the Special Olympics of Massachusetts. Mail your check to Doug Hastings, 14 College Road, Burlington, Massachusetts, 01803. Thank you for any contribution you would like to make.
Be cool. Yeah, that's the rule. Hey, to be cool.
The most important thing for you and your parents is to have an escape plan.
Have 2 ways out of your room or house in case one is blocked by fire. Have a meeting place outside of your house so everyone knows that no one is inside.
Practice the plan because just having a plan is no good if you don't practice it.